Coach Greg, and today I am going to give you my top 5 predictions for the Classic Physique Olympia coming up in under 2 weeks' time. So before I get into that, let me just advise you how I am no fortune teller, nor am I a psychic, so I cannot, in fact, predict the future. This is simply how I think the results will play out based on what I've been seeing, what I've heard, and all that kind of good stuff. All right, so let's get started right away with 5th place, Keone. I believe that he is going to be substantially improved from his last showings. As you know, he was natural up till earlier this year, and at that point he decided to go to the dark side and become amazing. And so really all he's been lacking has been to get shredded. He doesn't really suffer hard. He doesn't push himself on cardio. He doesn't really take it to that extreme level. Now that he's not natural anymore, I mean, he can easily add muscle in a calorie deficit, as you all obviously know by now. So he can not only get more muscle, but more shredded and fill out that weight class because he has to weigh a certain amount for his height. And I think he'll make 5th place this year, and I do think he will improve on that next year and the year after as he gets used to being just mind-blowing, insane shredded, because that's what I think his weakness was. In 4th place, I see George Peterson taking that spot. I think he doesn't really look classic per se, but he looks insanely good, as in shredded with crazy amounts of muscle for his weight limit and just an absolutely redonkulous back. So his strength is really his back. His weakness would be his legs, not really quite as big as his upper body, but how can it? You have a weight class to make. If he actually got bigger legs, his back would be less impressive, okay? He doesn't have that crazy vacuum or anything. He doesn't have as tiny of a waist as some of the top guys. So I think 4th place is actually a good finish for him, even though he was the Arnold Classic champion, and a lot of people might think he has a shot at winning. I see him as having a 0 chance to win, but top 5 is a solid, really good, respectable finish for him. In 3rd place, Henri Pierre from Canada. This guy is insane. Like, you might think it's insulting for me to rank him in 3rd, but come on, it's top 3 at the Olympia. Henri Pierre was a former drug-free national bodybuilding overall winner. Same as me, okay? This guy had ridiculous size and shape and cuts. Natural. That's in the natural days. Then a couple years later, he's super heavyweight national bodybuilding champion, okay? Not natty. Huge difference. People think you can't gain muscle when you're natural and you can't look like a freak. This guy was a freak as a natural, and now that he's, allowed to do what he needs to do, he's so much better. He is an IFBB pro bodybuilder who places in the top 5 in open bodybuilding. Think about it. Classic physique is judged the same way bodybuilding is, pretty much. It's almost the same thing. The big difference is the weight limits that people have to make. So Henri Pierre has a silly, stupid, small waist, and lats like, I have to back up, like this wide. It doesn't fit in a camera screen. It's insane. He looks really good. He's a good-looking guy, which helps a lot. And last year he made top 5, and his first Classic Physique show, he didn't even place in the top 3 because he wasn't in shape. So the dude just needed to wake up and do the cardio and start suffering. I mean, if you see some of his cheat meals on the weekends, you'd be like, holy, how does he get ripped? He must have an amazing metabolism. He eats like crazy in cheat meals, and he looks sick. I do not think he will come in at anything less than his all-time best, so I fully expect him to make the top 3 and be shredded and has that silly, crazy shape. Like, you can't change genetics. His shoulders are this wide, his waist is this small, and every pose he does just looks silly, okay? So I see him as top 3. 2nd place, Chris Bumstead. Chris has made the top 2 in the Olympia the last 2 years. The first year I had him in 1st, he made 2nd. Last year I had him in 2nd, he got 2nd. This year, I see him getting second. I fully expected after last year, basically, to see him go on to win this year. However, this guy has so much adversity to go through. I mean, not only with his health scare, but then he had to deal with a hernia operation. A hernia operation. I was out for 3 months before I even could train normally after my hernia operation. So the fact that he's even doing the show is insane. It's like, man, to even step on stage after that in that much time, it's amazing. And then he gets a hamstring injury. And so he can't train properly, and he's doing the best he can, and he has to diet through all this. And so it's an uphill battle for him. Now, second place is amazing. So obviously it's still incredible for him to get in the top 2. I think he has the best overall look for Classic Physique with the tiny waist and just the good lookingness of his face and the whole thing. And trust me, it all matters. The height. If he's 5'6", he doesn't, like my height, doesn't have the same impact. You want to be, man, if he was 6'9", it would be even better. Like, just the big, standing, tall freaks would be the best. And so I think he'll get second place. I don't know if he's going to be able to get as shredded as possible as he would need to be. I mean, obviously I watch his Instagram and YouTube videos sometimes to see, like, how he's making out. And I did see him on the weekend. And, you know, he was doing his cardio and he was, you know, he's doing all right. But it's hard when you're injured to have to go through all that and be at your best. And think about it. This is the best bodies in the world. And if you're not at 100% and you still have to win, that is tough. So I'm not saying it's not possible for him to win. I'm cheering for him to win. I want him to win. I'm just saying, based on what I'm seeing, I think he's going to get second place. Hopefully he then comes back and wins it next year and the year after and the year after that. First place, Breon Ansley, I think will three-peat this year. He looks shredded right now. Everything is in order. If anything, I think he will look better than he has looked before. He has an overall package that's really hard to beat here. There's no weakness on him. Yeah, there's no weakness. Like, the guy's biceps are ridiculously crazy, which would be Chris's weakness. So, you know, things like that really separate him. If he had weak biceps, I think he'd get second. But, you know, he's going to be shredded. He has a small waist. He doesn't really do the vacuum all proper, but it's not like you have to. He has great abs. His quads, hamstrings, everything look perfect. So I think he will get his third Olympia win in a row, and then I will predict Chris wins in next year's show. Okay, so that wraps it up. Hopefully you agree, or well, you don't have to agree. Hopefully you understand where I'm coming from. If you have any different placings that you think, or just want to share what you think will place in the top 5, write them below in the comments. For coaching, GregDoucette.com. Check me out on Instagram, Greg Doucette, IFBB Pro. I have lots of discussions and chats and debates on this. You might want to get a part of that. I also show pictures and whatnot of what I used to look like when I was younger and all this good stuff. So until next time.